Good morning all. It's really important that even on a day as cloudy as this, that you send the right signals to your body and the right signals to your brain. So we've got two key areas to effectively wake up. The first being the brain, that happens through the eyes, and the second is the skin, that happens strangely through the skin. So I've got a jumper on, but I've got shorts on because it's slightly colder today. But in an ideal world, we would go around with a t-shirt on, because much like the eyes respond to specific the parts that we need to respond today respond to specific wavelengths of light in the 400s. The skin's the exact same thing, and what that does to your skin is it effectively wakes your skin up, and it says, okay, skin, it's daytime, so we need to wake up and we need to get into protection mode, because we're going to have some sunlight to protect. We're going to have some sunlight that we need to protect ourselves from. We're going to be bombarded with wavelengths of light that we need to protect our body from. So come on, skin, let's wake up. So that's great, that's perfect. And it also gives a slight explanation as to why the bits that are always under clothing are the bits that burn. The bits, if you wear complete head to toe clothing and then go and strip off because you found somewhere to sunbathe, and then you get burnt really quickly, understand why. At no point did you expose yourself to wavelengths of light that would allow it to wake up and be protective. It was still on sleep mode. Sleep mode. And therefore, if it's still on sleep mode, then it's not on protection mode. So it needs two different modes effectively. And the flip side of that being on protective mode is when we don't want it on protective mode anymore, we need to create a darkness and an absence, or much less intense 400 nanometer plus, or the 400 range wavelength. But what do we do when we get home? We turn the lights on, which are very, very high in that 400 range. We also watch TV, again high in that 400 range. We look at our phone, again high in that 400 range. We go on a computer, high in that 400 range. So your face, for example, doesn't often get burnt because it's exposed to the light and the dark cycles, and it's also switched on to by the screen work and everything else that you use. But if you start to realise that, okay, so I'm always switched on with my face, that's why it doesn't really burn, or that could be a reason as to why it doesn't really burn. But at the same time, if I'm always watching screens and it's always exposed to that blue light, then does it ever really get switched into repair mode? Well, no, it doesn't. And they're starting to think now that actually that is one of the reasons why we get so many more wrinkles, apart from the very emotive state of our face, the fact that we have so many muscles in it and we can move it in so many different ways to elicit different emotional responses type thing, or emotional not emotional responses, but indicate emotional responses via our facial muscles. But they're also starting to understand that actually the blue light that is consistently bombarded upon our face takes away the ability for our face to get into repair and regenerate mode, and therefore ages quicker than other parts of the skin. And so if you start to piece all this together, then it becomes quite simple to maintain a kind of younger complexion. I say that with these big wrinkles there, but I had those since I was like 6, so they're not going anywhere. No, but it becomes, you start to understand how your light environment is either positively affecting your health, or your skin health in this case, or negatively affecting it. And it's probably doing one of those things. And as we live in as the world gets more and more blue light heavy, you'll start to see that. We'll start to see that with retinal damage, because the same thing exists with your eyes. Too much blue light damages the eyes. And you'll start to see more people, like, because if you are not having repair and regeneration, some of that repair and regeneration is repair and regeneration or apoptosis of damaged cells, damaged DNA, which we need to get rid of, and we need to break down and get rid of, because they are the parts that if they are damaged DNA and they mutate into that, they are the things that cause cancer. And so we need to be aware of light and dark. We need to be aware of stimulus and relaxation. We need to be aware of that there needs to be two distinct paths. One that recovers, and the other one that gets you ready for the day. So whereas the blue light and the 400 range of 400 nanometer range of lights is very good in the morning to wake us up, and to get our skin nice and protected against the bombardment of light that is coming throughout the day, we also need an absence of that later on in the day. We also need an absence of that range of wavelength later on in the day, in order to repair and recover any damage that has occurred. And once we start to understand that, we can start to manipulate our environment back to something with which our body is able to cope with. Because if you think about true lighting, like LED lighting, what's that been around since the 90s? LED lighting, the 90s maybe. Before that you had like fluorescent stuff and stuff like that through the 80s, but you know, I'm talking about daylight light. So you kind of make it daylight the whole day, which is ridiculous. Like, it's great for companies that want to make profit by bombarding you with blue light so it keeps you alert, but it's not good for your health though. So the basic premise of this is understand that both your skin and your eyes have light receptors, and understand that blue light isn't all bad. So that 400 range of blue light isn't all bad. It is conducive to waking you up and making you productive throughout the day, but at the same time, and it makes your skin protective, or it starts to instigate a protective mechanism in your skin. But at the same time, at the night when the sun's going down, or when you're not in the sun, give it a break. Give it a break from all the blue light. So we either turn off the screens, but most people are screen addicted now in some way, shape or form. You get the right kind of lighting, so you get the red and the oranges, and then you get some blue light blocking glasses to stop it going through the eye, so we can set the brain onto kind of nighttime mode. But we also respect our skin's ability to drop into rest and recover. And so we either cover up the skin, because we should be making it cooler in the evening as well. Or again, we limit the amount of blue light coming out of the screens, or blue light coming out of the lights that we have, and we get the right kind of red lighting, orange lighting in the house. And we try and do that, so we have two distinct cycles. First, daylight activity, protection, nighttime, rest, recovery and rejuvenation.